Welcome to As I Live and Grieve, a podcast that tells the truth about how hard this is. We're glad you joined us today. We know how hard it is to lose someone you love and how well-intentioned friends and family try so hard to comfort us. We created this podcast to provide you with comfort, knowledge, and support. We are grief advocates, not professionals, not licensed therapists. We are you. Today we are speaking with Karen Shaw. Karen is a transformational life and parenting empowerment coach, an emotional rebalancing therapist, energy alignment method mentor, and mother of 3 wonderful sons. She's the founder of Parenting Magic, a parenting method that enables parents to connect and communicate with their children in a conscious and confident way, and author of the amazing #1 best-selling book, Parenting Magic, A New Approach to Behavior and Communication. A seed sower, thought leader, way shower, and change maker. Karen is a qualified NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, master practitioner, and hypnotherapist, life coach, and one of the first energy alignment method mentors to be qualified in the world. If you'd like to check our episode notes for Karen's contact info and her website, feel free to contact her for a 15-minute chat to find out if the energy alignment method can work for you.
Welcome, Karen, and thanks so much for joining us today.
My absolute pleasure. I am so happy to be here.
Thank you. I'm so excited for our listeners to hear what you have for us today. I methodically research topics for our podcast, as does Stephanie, and I have to tell you that my curiosity was definitely piqued with this one. And then in just a brief phone conversation with you, I've gone from simple curiosity to craving more information. I first saw a comment that emotions can be controlled, if you will, by the energy alignment method. Can you give us all a brief introduction into what this is and just how energy connects to our emotions, please?
I would love to do that. And I'm so glad that you got interested in this because it's my passion. The energy alignment method is a method that was created by Yvette Taylor, and it really does find out whether we're in flow, whether we are living our truth or not. And what it can do is it can really unearth emotions that we might not consciously know we have. So it is so good at finding out our truth. Wow. Because we are only 5 to 10% conscious. And when we say, I think something, I say, well, you might think that. And your body, the energy in your body might have a completely different view on it. And that is what's so spectacular about asking your own body. And you are asking the energy of you, the energy that's flowing through us. And so the reason it's linked to emotions is when we look at that word, the word means energy in motion. That's where it's come from. That E of the emotion means energy in motion.
I never knew that. I never thought of that.
So every single emotion you feel, and you'll know this, they all feel different. Those very low emotions or those very high, there's a huge difference between these frequencies, between these vibrations of energy that we've labeled. And it's us that have put the labels on them so that we can identify what we're feeling.
Wow.
So that's what it is, yeah.
That's interesting. And I have always considered myself a very emotional person. I would like to think that also correlates to I'm full of energy, but I certainly don't feel like I'm full of energy. So it will be interesting to explore this even more.
Yeah, because what it means, you are full of energy. It depends which energy.
Right.
That therein lies the rub. During the pandemic, we all heard many times, usually in relation to the vaccinations, it's in the science. Trust the science. I do trust science. I've always been interested in science as well. And this sounds almost too good to be true. So as you use this method, do you feel it what is the science for the energy alignment method? And is there any way you can give us a taste, so to speak, of how we can feel this energy in our bodies?
Yeah, lots of questions there,
I
Kathy.
know. I do that. I do that.
So the science behind it is, well, we know that everything is energy. Everything is energy. And you may have heard it said, we live in a dual world. If I put my hand under a microscope, it wouldn't look like this hard, solid thing. Everything would move out of the way. I might see tiny little bits of things. Mainly, I would see space and energy. So we live in an energetic world. My eyes, my human sense looks at that hand and says, that's pretty solid. So which one's true? Both of them.
Okay.
Both of them. So we know that things aren't solid. They are actually flashing in and out of existence. They are moving about. It's very hard to comprehend from a human point of view. That's what the science tells us. Energy is completely moving all the time. So I am an energetic being with no real hard edge. I look like I have. However, the energy from me is constantly coming out of this body and moving. So other people move into my energy, I move into theirs, and we're all swirling around in this quantum soup of energy.
I like that phrase, quantum soup of energy.
And who's in control of my energy? I am.
Right.
And it is really interesting when people say, you've made me sad, you've made me angry. If the emotion is in me, because it's my body that this energy is moving through, how exactly does that person make me it? They may do something that I am annoyed at. They may do something that I will then choose to get upset about. I'm not saying that's easy. That's the truth, though. I'm in control of this energetic being and everything that's flowing through me. So I can choose not to experience that or let it in. If it is in me and I do that, I can also release it. And that's what the energy alignment method will do. Allow you to release it. It's just words we use. We release it, we let it go, we breathe it out. And then in a different space, a different state, a different frame of mind, we then say, I'm now ready to allow in, and it depends what you want. I don't ever suggest you go from a really low emotion to being ridiculous and say, I'm ecstatic about this now and it's all perfect.
Right.
Let's do what we can and say, I'm ready to accept this. I'm ready to be calm about it. We can just choose what we let in, and then we allow that in and allow that in until that energy is flowing through the body.
Okay. So will the energy alignment method then help you, it'll help you learn to decide or control what emotions you let in your body? Do you eventually reach a point? Is it something that you can practice and work on so that eventually that becomes almost something that happens without thinking, instead of thinking one way, and acting sort of, or emoting before you really think about it? Do you eventually reach a point where you have controlled them just because of habit?
Right.
100%. 100%.
Okay.
Because I know that I've done this work for that long. I truly, hand on heart, I can't tell you the last time I was angry.
Oh my goodness.
I need this so much.
So many people in the world need
Yes.
this.
Yes.
Oh, so yeah, because it is my choice. It doesn't mean I like everything. It doesn't mean people do things that I
Right.
approve of or don't approve of. And it's
Right.
my choice what I do in response to that. And
Okay.
truthfully, what most of us do is react, fly off the
Exactly.
handle.
Yep. Yeah. And I know just that the energy and the vibe around, like, there's people that are just constantly negative. And I don't like being around that energy because it's going to bring me down to that low and I don't
Right.
want to be there. And I'm glad that you can eventually unconsciously kind of calm your energy. And I would love to get to that point because it sounds like a lot of hard work in the beginning.
It's not hard work. It really is just changing your thought process, your mindset, your understanding of maybe no one's ever said this to you before and you've not thought about it. So I understand what you're saying, Stephanie. You can go into a room, we say it, you could cut the atmosphere with a knife.
Exactly.
And you don't even know what's happened sometimes, but you feel the vibration of that negativity. Yep. You go to another place, you go to a party and go, wow, the vibes in this place are fantastic. Yeah. So you feel that energy. The truth is, I know we have a lot of people who are empathetic and do sense energy a lot. However, I still believe that you cannot let that bring you down. Yeah. And that's definitely practice. That's absolutely practice. Mm-hmm. I know there are still people, in my life who are fairly negative. So I just choose not to be around them too long.
Right.
Yeah.
So you can.
I have a few people in my network that I don't really associate with a lot anymore for that very reason.
Right.
For that very reason.
And that's protecting your energy.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, I didn't think of it in those terms, but I guess it is.
Yeah, you're protecting yourself. One of the interesting things for me is we talk about everything being energy and there's no hard end to anything, that our energy, even though in this form is dense, as it leaves me, it's a different frequency, and that's etheric. Huh. And then as it goes out even further into an emotional or mental, and then it goes out further into astral, and it goes out further into, and these are all the layers of what people call the aura.
Okay. All right.
And you can measure the electromagnetic frequencies in them.
Oh my goodness. Are there lab studies that have shown that? Clinical
Absolutely,
tests?
absolutely.
Oh my goodness.
That's
there's
so neat.
There's a machine, it's called a squid. And it's a sequential quantum interference decoder device.
Oh my goodness! Huh.
And that's what it measures. It measures the electromagnetic output of you, and the strongest place your electromagnetic output is from is your heart.
Oh wow! Huh! Wow. Okay, all this energy talk. Now, if my body is full of this energy.
Yeah.
And my emotions are energy leaving my body,
mm-hmm.
As I understand it.
Moving through it, moving up and down or wherever it's running through. Right. Yeah, that's your emotion.
Why don't I feel it? Or do I feel it and just don't know that that's what I'm feeling?
You do feel it. What are you like when you're excited or happy or you feel good? And if you think about the language we use, when people are low, down, depressed.
Right.
We're talking about the energy of the body. That's what we're doing.
Huh.
So what I do right now, you're not even thinking about this, but you've got incredible energy coming from your hands. So can you put your hands together and rub?
Okay.
Rub. Now we do this when we want to get warm, so we are creating friction.
Okay. I hope our listeners are doing this too.
Yeah.
Unless they're driving. Okay, yeah, I do. I feel heat.
Now move your hands just a little bit away and together. Oh. You ought to feel a pulsing of energy.
I do. That's energy.
Yeah.
See, I think that we just don't pay attention to it. We just carry on with our life. We just don't stop for a second and pay attention.
Well, and we don't know that that's what it is that's happening.
Right.
Huh.
And then the other way of, that's just the simple exercise. If the listeners and you want to do what EAM does, we need to get to our feet to do this bit, don't we?
All right. Yeah. Let me get to my feet. So, okay, I'm standing.
All right. So you stand with feet hip width apart and nice and relaxed. To make sure that they're relaxed, sometimes it helps to bounce up and down a little bit so that the knees are not locked. Okay. Take your awareness to your hips and make sure your hips are nice and loose. And then especially your shoulders. Just relax the shoulders, shake those hands out. And then when you're standing nice and straight, you're grounded. And you're just going to look straight ahead. You're going to make a statement that is true to you so that your body is going to be aligned to that. If you're going to say your name, and if you have had that name all your life, your body will want to flow forward. It might be almost indiscernible. All I'm asking you to do is pay attention to what your body feels like when you tell the truth. So say out loud, my name is, and then say your name.
My name is Kathleen. Oh. I felt something. I don't know how to describe it, but I did.
You moved.
A little. I did.
Yeah, you did. You did.
Yeah.
You saw it, Steph?
Yeah. You moved forward a little bit.
I did.
It's easier if you turn to the side. It's easier to actually see a tiny bit of move. And for people who don't run their energy, who don't do energy work or yoga or meditate, their energy is more static.
Okay.
So it isn't going to move as freely. However, sometimes it's a tiny thing in the chest that you just feel that tiniest pull, like the magnetic pull wants you to go forward. So we did see that. Now tell a lie and say out loud, my name is, and say a name that you absolutely know it isn't.
My name is Christine.
You went back. You went backwards.
You went back.
So forward is truth and back is false.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Now I just
if
want
any
to
of our listeners tried that,
I hope so.
You felt it, email us and let us know.
Yeah. Get someone else to watch you when you do it and try it with them too.
I do want to say, if anybody didn't go forward on the name, we also can have something called an energy reversal that's come from the past. It can come from anywhere. And it's where your energy has just got very mixed up.
Huh.
And this happened to me. When I first started, I said my name, I was backwards.
Huh.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I wondered if it was going to work for me because my birth name is Kathleen, but I never liked that name. So all my friends call me Kathy.
Right.
And it depends how long that's been your truth. That's,
exactly.
That is your truth. So, there's lots that can happen. And I just love the fact. So what this can do is, when I'm working with someone, if they say to me, no, I don't think I'm this, I'll say, shall we just ask your sway? And then you say, do I believe that? Oh, yes, I do believe that. And it's like, well, that's not helping you, is it?
Uh-huh.
And then we release it, and then we put a belief in that is definitely going to help people move forward.
Right. Now, when we spoke on the phone before, I want our listeners to know that Stephanie tried this herself, and I sat by. I'm quite the skeptic, or I can be, and I waited patiently. So, Stephanie, tell us what you felt when you did this.
Well, at first, I just felt, I've taken a couple yoga classes, and I guess I really loved those because they force you to stop and think and feel what your body's doing and how your body is grounded to the floor that you're standing on and things like that. And so I really liked that. And that was pre-pandemic. And now I should really do it at home. But when we first did that and I said, my name is Stephanie, I felt like tingles through my legs. I wasn't paying attention to the swaying. And then she made us turn sideways so that, Mom, you could see it. And then when I said my name and I felt go forward a little bit. And then when I lied and said my name was Jennifer, I did feel going backwards. And it was it was a crazy feeling to me, but it was amazing.
Yeah. And from watching it, you moved back almost like you were starting to fall.
Yeah.
That's what it looked like,
Yeah.
And of course, listeners, I knew as I stood and tried this myself, I knew what Stephanie had felt. But again, I thought, well, that's Stephanie.
Right.
I probably won't feel the same thing.
Right.
But I did.
Yeah.
I did. So the energy is more powerful than my own skepticism.
Right.
I guess that's the point I'm trying to make there. So just give it a try. So, okay, now we know kind of the science. We know a little bit how it feels and how it might affect our bodies. So what exactly is the energy alignment method? And how does it work? And how could it help someone who's grieving? More questions, I know.
That's the whole point of it, Kathy. Do you know, it's not really complicated. It is, in a nutshell, it is releasing energy that is not serving you, is not making you feel good, is not helping you. So we look at, what are your thoughts? What are your beliefs? What are your emotions? So if somebody is grieving and it is absolutely true that this is the energy in them, there are lots of emotional scales and you can see different levels. So grief can feel dreadful.
Mm-hmm.
And whilst we never want to dismiss it or not acknowledge it's happening, we can help raise the vibration of the body so it's not feeling that level of the hurt or how awful that emotion feels. So we stand there and we find out, has this person got grief? And inevitably, if we know it, they will go forward.
Right.
People operate very differently. So if they say, I feel it, I feel this big, heavy feeling in wherever they feel it, we say, I am ready to release this feeling in my stomach, solar plexus, chest of grief. I release it in all forms, on all levels, at all points in time. Magic words. Say them 3 times and breathe out. Then I would ask, does it still feel the same? Often it's shrunk or it's little or it's moved, and we do it again until it doesn't feel the same in the body. Some people are visual and they'll say, I can see, a big red or yellow brick, heavy. Wow. So there's lots of different ways.
Right.
Some people don't. In that case, I use numbers and we just say, how many?
Okay.
Now, what the how many is referring to are, how many resistances have you got to not feeling something else? Did that make sense?
Yeah.
You can only feel one emotion.
Okay.
If you are feeling that over and over or almost constantly, you are building up resistant energy to all those other good emotions.
Right, right.
So let's release them and make some space for something else. And this is where at step 5, I would say, what would you like to allow in? I would like to feel calmer.
Right.
More hopeful.
More
The
accepting.
words that, whatever suits the client. It's not me. It's got to be, how they feel. And in this case, we just stand and we bring it in. We invite in. I am ready to allow in this feeling of hope, of calm, of acceptance, of gratitude, whatever it is. And we allow that in all forms, on all levels, at all points in time. 3 times, breathe it in and down into all those trillions of cells, into the body, and feel different.
It's amazing, yet sounds so simple. For me, breaking it down, I hear positive versus negative. And it sounds like, for me personally, the completion of a journey I have been on over the last 5 or 6 years. I felt years ago that my life in general had become so negative, and I didn't like it. I wasn't happy. I wanted to be more positive. I wanted a better outlook. And I was just tired of drama that was around me at work and everything like that. So I made a concerted effort to remove first negative thoughts and statements from me personally, from my life. And for the most part, I've succeeded. Now, I still utter the occasional negative statement, have the negative thought or emotion. But for the most part, I have to say I am happier, calmer, and more content. But I feel this has all been external. It's what other people might sense of me, although it's had an impact on me. So I would ask you, Karen, how is it you work one-on-one? And I think you kind of just answered that a moment ago with some of the statements and everything, and how it helps in grief. How long does it take? At what point can you start to feel the effect?
Oh, immediately absolutely, because energy is so palpable. Even like we said at the beginning, we're not aware it's energy. We do feel it, and you go, oh, I feel better than I did before. And you just keep building on that. What I'm going to say to you is, you used a brilliant word there, this concerted effort. Now, to me, concerted effort is focus, and it's a bit of a struggle, and it's very conscious. Now, you see, if you are only 5 to 10% conscious and everything else is happening at this unconscious level, you may think you've dealt with it, but when we check with the energy system, you haven't. And so you've done a brilliant job, and we are human. I will still say those negative things, we're not going to change.
Right.
We just got more awareness. And
Right.
that is just a brilliant place to start. I'm a specialist in communication and energetic communication. I love it. And so it's for people to be able to communicate with themselves in the best way, and others, whether it be children or people at work or their other half. And then it's to understand that we are all energetic beings with our own personal power. And I really love working with people to find their own personal magic. And then we say parenting magic, because I work with parents, and as you know, the book is Parenting Magic. And so people will work with me for so many different reasons.
Yeah. Well, I think you may have just found a new client in me. We'll be talking.
Yeah.
We will.
Well, and I think that it's, again, you have to take that few seconds to realize that you always say, hey, you're in control of your own destiny. And for you are in control of your body and your emotions, and don't let the negativity in, but you've got to take the second to purposefully do it.
Right. That concerted effort.
Yes. Yeah. So I know some are more inclined to want to try something privately, Karen. Do you feel this is something people can learn from a book, or where would you suggest someone start if they were reluctant to work directly with someone? And what would the challenges be of that versus one-on-one?
I have the beautiful Yvette's book here, and it is the Energy Alignment Method. It will tell you more about how to use it, what it is. And yes, absolutely, you can get the basics, you can understand it, so that even with what we've shared today, you can use that whenever you want to get rid of something. What I will say is, I trained as a mentor for a long time, because this can take you down rabbit holes. You can ask a question. You may say, have I got rid of this? And you'll get a no, and you think, oh God, I've done everything, I've released it. So the question then is it something else? And then you'll get this forward. That's where I think it takes, working with somebody to go, let's do this, because I work intuitively, and I can then say, is it from this lifetime? Right. Was it in the womb? Was it during birth? Is it from past lives? Whether you believe in past lives or not doesn't really matter, because it's just energy. I'm talking about energy from elsewhere. Right. Is it generational? Has it been handed down? We isolate where it's come from. And then we find out whether it is just resistant energy or energy in reversal, which is a different thing. Then we find out why your energy ever went into reversal.
Right. And there's one thing to kind of learn something from a book and apply it to yourself. But eventually you reach the point that you think you got it.
Right.
Okay, I got it now. But you really don't.
Right.
You're only part of the way. So I can truly see the benefit of working with someone who didn't really know you previously, so that you can be completely candid. Yeah. And that person is completely non-judgmental. I can really see how that would help.
The other thing that's beautiful about this is people don't have to tell me the story. It's not like counseling. If they know on that scale they're feeling this, I need no more. Mm-hmm. We will work with that. And then I can ask questions that might seem very strange. Like I've just said, was it in the womb? you are carrying so much. The energy from when you were in there through your mom and through the environment, it's in there.
Wow.
That's so crazy, but I love it. It's so interesting.
I love it too. I love it.
So, Karen, we hear your lovely accent and know that you're from the UK. Our internet search turned up only a few people in the States that are certified to instruct this method. Can it be done virtually?
Absolutely, it can. That interests me though, Stephanie, because I don't know who you found. I am aware of only one person in the States who is actually qualified in the energy alignment method. Somebody might be an energy alignment therapist.
Right. And that's what you can't always tell from their bio.
No, and I don't think it's going to be this, just because I know, and I know it's a lovely lady called Hilary Drinkle, I think.
I think
and as far as because I'm very involved with EAM and I know who's certified. So, but I'm going to say, of course, there are other methods. Yvette would absolutely say, she's not invented this. EAM is her creation because she's put together applied kinesiology. People use pendulums. We know about energy and the energy of crystals. So, of course, we can do it virtually. We've just seen that we can.
Right.
I can see the sway wherever I am. The wonders of technology. Yeah. Zoom is brilliant.
Yeah. We've spent some time talking about this method now, but I also want people to know that you have authored a book, Parenting Magic. And I believe you use the energy alignment method in parenting. Can you tell us about that and also anything else you would like them to know about the energy alignment method and services you provide?
Yep. Have a look at that one. That's mine. My book, all pretty.
I ordered it and I'm not even 20 pages into it. And I was just showing my mom I highlighted a couple of phrases that in quotes. So I will be posting on Facebook and quoting you, but just in less than 20 pages, I was like, oh, it's right there in front of my face. This is so, yes.
And it makes so much sense.
Right.
Right. Oh, so happy. That's brilliant, Stephanie. I'm so glad about that. What's fabulous for me, I work with parents and people want different things. The interesting thing about using EAM is because a lot of parents don't know what they really think about parenting, they're not even aligned to the role of parent, which is when we're born, we are naturally women aren't we? Somebody's daughter. And then you're going to be somebody's sister. They are natural roles. Then we have those other roles in lives, jobs that we can change easily. Parenting is really in between the two. It's not natural. You're not born it. And then once you are it for life.
Right.
And people are not aligned to it. So we ask that question. And if we get no, we know the starting point. We know exactly where to start with getting you aligned to it. Do you believe this about your children? Then we can go even more on the energetic and spiritual side. And some parents want to go and find out what the spiritual meaning of parenting is, or even soul contracts or vows and agreements made. And that's fascinating to delve into. And of course, the energy alignment method helps me go there with them. Mm-hmm. Then there's the purely practical bit, which is the language. And I call it magic language. The impact and the influence of the language we use to get the results we want. Mm-hmm. With parents as well, I like to just touch on a little bit of child and brain development, because that can answer the questions of why children behave in certain ways at different times.
Yeah.
So it's really bespoke when I work with parents, and I do work 6 weeks is a great program to take them and tailor it to where they want to go. And I do group programs and I do that on Zoom and on Facebook. I just love it. I love working with, parents. And the interesting thing for me, if a parent has spoken to me and said, we've got a 14-year-old that's off the rails, what can you do with him? And I go, when do you want to see him? And I say, I don't. I want to see you.
Yeah.
Let's sort you out first.
Right.
And that's it. Because my belief is if you are the best you and you're in alignment and in flow and enjoying life, you are then the best parent, the best daughter, the best everything.
Right.
Let's get you sorted. Let's find your personal magic. Get your personal power back.
Right. Take care of you, and then you can take care of others.
True.
Interesting.
Mhm.
So
Interesting.
true.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming that all of the information about the services and programs you offer are on your website.
Yes.
And we are going to post that information, that contact information and everything, as well as a link to your book and to Yvette's book in our episode notes and also on our website for our listeners.
Brilliant.
Karen, I could talk to you all day. And seriously, I really believe that I am going to be contracting with you for a 6-week program, because what I have felt, what I have taken in as information and everything is so solid to me and lets me know that this is something finally I think that I could put forth that concerted effort and continue my journey and maybe be even happier and even calmer and even more content.
Right.
And boy, I need that.
I would love
Everyone needs
that.
that.
Yeah.
So a huge thank you to you.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
To our listeners, we hope you've enjoyed this. And even though this podcast is truly about grief and grieving, we all know that not only do we grieve people we have lost to death, but we have many other losses in our lives that we grieve, whether it's divorce, whether it's loss of a job, whether it's having been uprooted from your home. Grief is in our lives constantly, and hence the name As I Live and Grieve. So listeners, thanks for listening in today. I hope you will look up Karen's website. I hope you will purchase the books or take them out of your library. Libraries are great as well. And let us know if you tried our little experiment during the session.
Yeah.
Let us know how you felt. We'd love to hear from you. So keep on keeping on. Remember self-care. Take care of yourselves. And listen in next week as we continue to live and grieve.
Thank you so much for listening with us today. Do you have a topic that you'd like us to cover, or do you have a question from one of our episodes? Please email us at info@asiliveandgrieve.com and let us know. We hope you will find a moment to leave a review, send an email, and share with others. Join us next time as we continue to live and grieve together.